Gabon has become the latest country in West and Central Africa where the army has taken over following Niger, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Mali, and Chad, all former French colonies. On August 30, 2023, minutes after the announcement of the disputed election results, which saw pro-France President Ali Bongo get re-elected for a third term, senior military officers announced a coup. Since 1990, nearly 78% of the 27 coups in sub-Saharan Africa have occurred in Francophone states, as per a BBC report. This has led to some analysts question if France or its colonial legacy is to be blamed. In almost all nations that have fallen to a military takeover, anti-French sentiments are widespread not just among the coup leaders but among the general public as well. In Niger, large crowds in support of the coup leaders can be seen denouncing France and attacking the French embassy. The coup leaders in Niger alleged that President Mohamed Bazoum was a puppet for French interests. 5 military deals with France have since been revoked by the junta led by Gen Abdourahmane Tiani. In Burkina Faso, the military government ended a long-standing accord that allowed French troops to operate in the country in February, giving France 1 month to remove its forces. Colonel Abdoulaye Maïga, who was named prime minister by the military junta in Mali in September 2022, criticized what he called neo-colonialist, condescending, paternalist and vengeful policies of France. Maïga alleged that France had disowned universal moral values and stabbed Mali in the back. The history of France's rule in these African nations provides some support for this anger and denouncement. French colonial rule established political systems that were designed to extract valuable resources at cheap rates or sometimes for free while using repressive strategies to retain control. British colonial rule was no different, but what made France stand out was the extent to which it continued to engage and maintain a hold in the politics and economics of its former colonies well after their independence. As many as 8 of the 9 Francophone states in West Africa and 6 in Central Africa still use the CFA franc. The CFA franc, or franc of the Financial Community of Africa, is the name of a currency pegged to the euro and guaranteed by France, a legacy of French economic policy towards its colonies. Under defense agreements with its former African colonies, France almost regularly intervened militarily on behalf of unpopular pro-French leaders to keep them in power. Paris still maintains a military presence and bases in Niger, Gabon, Senegal and Côte d'Ivoire. Although France did not intervene militarily to reinstate any of the recently deposed heads of state, including Niger's Mohamed Bazoum, all were seen as being pro-French. The relationship between French political leaders and their allies in Africa was often seen as corrupt, creating a powerful and wealthy elite at the expense of African citizens. And there are constant reminders of the problematic relations between France, French business interests, and Africa, including a number of corruption cases which were swept under the carpet. In this backdrop, growing popular anger and frustration emboldened military leaders to believe that a coup would be celebrated by citizens, and in many cases they were right. However, despite all of the mistakes France has made in its dealings with its former colonies in Africa over the years, the instability Francophone states are currently experiencing cannot be solely blamed on it.